It was Saturday evening and 𝒖𝒂𝒄 was meeting his friends at Kenma's. He was so happy to finally be able to see them all again, to finally be able to hug them all again, to just fool around. 𝒖𝒂𝒄 was having the time of his life. Every time he is with his hot setters group he could be in for some terrible fun. With them, everything was so easy, he could forget all his worries. Sugura clung to 𝒖𝒂𝒄 the whole time, as if he had to make up for everything they had missed in the last 2 years in this one evening. He took care of his friend and made sure he was okay. It was already late when 𝒖𝒂𝒄 suddenly got a call from 𝒖𝒔𝒅. Guys, excuse me for a moment, 𝒖𝒔𝒅's calling. 𝒖𝒂𝒄 hopped outside to answer the call, while the others just smirked at 𝒖𝒂𝒄. The two spoke Spanish. Hola chico. Hahaha kava. Either you're recovering really well or you're just drunk. Or both. Ha. I would never drink without my favorite drinking partner. Oh, you're a liar. Who said it was you? Well, I honestly feel offended now. Bahaha. How was the match against Brazil? I couldn't watch it unfortunately. It was so close. But we lost unfortunately. Benjamin did a really great job, but in the end we lost the last set because of 5 points difference. Thiago was not in form at all. Benjamin was Argentina's spare setter and Thiago was the team's ace. Damn. They will be a tough opponent when we meet them in the World Cup. You said it. Therefore, it is even more urgent that you recover completely. 𝒖𝒂𝒄 grinned. You can count on me. And then we'll crush them all together. Your fighting spirit is still the same, Toru. I can't wait to play volleyball with you again. The same goes for me. I miss you guys. Stop being so sentimental, you've only been gone a week. Every day without volleyball is a wasted day. That's already 1 week too much, 𝒖𝒔𝒅. They both laughed. Make sure you have a good rest. And enjoy the time with your friends in Japan. And make sure you get me a souvenir. You are way too exhausting, 𝒖𝒔𝒅. I won't bring you anything. Then say goodbye to my empanadas. I changed my mind. You get something great. Hahaha, you are such an idiot, Toru. It's nice to hear you being so exuberant again. 𝒖𝒂𝒄 smiled. Thanks for giving me the push. I probably would have stayed at home in Argentina otherwise. I know, I've known you long enough for that now. 𝒖𝒂𝒄 sighed. Hey 𝒖𝒔𝒅, I'll call you again in a few days. I don't want to keep my friends waiting too long. Sure. Have fun, Toru, and get well soon. Thanks. Nos vemos. 𝒖𝒂𝒄 came back and saw his friends still smirking at him. What? So 𝒖𝒔𝒅, huh? Hey. What's going on between you two? Ahahaha, nothing. He's just a good friend. 𝒖𝒂𝒄 blushed because the situation was so embarrassing. Aha, a good friend, huh? Oh my gosh guys, this is really not what you're thinking. Sure. Sugar raised an eyebrow and smirked at 𝒖𝒂𝒄, who couldn't stop blushing and laughing at how stupid this was. He took some popcorn that Kenma had provided and threw it at Sugar and Atsumu. Stop smirking. Grinning idiots. The evening passed and Atsumu and Sugar would not stop teasing 𝒖𝒂𝒄. He hoped in vain for the support of Akashi and Kenma, as they only laughed warmly about it. Later, Daikai and Kiru also joined in. Bastards. That same evening Iwaizumi, Hanamaki, and Matsukoi were at a bar drinking sake. Are you really not coming to Seijo? No. We have an important match a week later. We need everyone in top shape by then. Who is your opponent? Poland. A tough one. Yes, but if the team stays as it is now, we have a pretty good chance. I heard that 𝒂𝒄 is at his best lately. I don't think I've ever seen him as good as he is right now. But not only him, Atsumu, Hinata, Kajiyama, Ashijima. I think 𝒂𝒄 is totally pulling them all along. I kind of still can't believe you get along so well with Wakatoshi. Iwaizumi grinned. Crazy, isn't it? Is the match against Poland your last test game then? Yeah, after that, the league will continue until May and then we'll all meet up again in June to practice for the World Cup in Scotland. When is your first match? I think it was the 5th of July. It's our turn on the 3rd day. I can hardly wait. Mattsun and I got tickets for the semi-finals and for the final. So it worked out after all? Yes. Cool. I am glad that you will be there. Now you just have to make it there. Fingers crossed that nobody gets hurt until then. If everything goes well, that should not be a problem. Confident Iwaizumi. As always. But you have quite a difficult group, don't you? Who was it? Italy, Canada and Panama? Exactly. I think in the end it will be a duel between us and Italy. They also have a top team this year. Canada has always been pretty good too, right? All of them. But as I said, we're also pretty good this year. The first two in the group will advance to the round of 16. The three of them talked for a while about the upcoming World Cup and continued to drink sake. Between Iwaizumi, Hanamaki and Matsukura, everything was the same as before. They still got along really well and met almost every week either at a bar or at someone's home. Iwaizumi scrolled through his phone until he came across a new Haikyuu post from Sugora. Iwaizumi wasn't sure if he should hit the like button or not. Wouldn't that be weird to like a picture of his ex-boyfriend? Mattsun lit a cigarette while Hanamaki leaned over the table and looked into Iwaizumi's phone to see what he was so worried about. Or they look really cute. When did you start shipping Sugar and Oikura? I mean, look at them. Such beauties. Iwaizumi scoffed and gave Hanamaki a disdainful look. But the latter only grinned at him. You're a bitch, Hanamaki. I'm just telling the truth here. If you can't handle it, that's your bad luck. Mattsun chuckled. Show me. Iwaizumi handed Matsukura his phone. They do look really good. I told you so. You think I'm lying? Never. Mattsun grinned while exhaling the smoke. Iwaizumi stared at the photo for a while. They really looked good, especially Oikura. He always knew how to put himself into the spotlight. Have you talked again since he came back? He's busy meeting his friends. Oh, stop whining, Iwa. Just ask him if he has time. Why? So that I have to listen how sorry he is, just so he can clear his conscience and then be gone again in a few weeks? Thanks, but I can do without that. Don't you have any questions? I think thanks to Haikyuu I know quite well about his life. He's doing great. Mattsun and Maki shook their heads in disbelief. He is a hopeless case, Mattsun. Agreed. You get on my nerves. Don't you want to know why he really left you? Don't you want to talk about it soberly for once? Maybe explain your side and your feelings to him? Do you want to stay so pissed off in the long run? Oikura won't be out of the world. He will always come back home and you will always be an agitated piece of shit when you meet him. Oh, thank you for your insightful words, Maki. Hanamaki sighed, but he could see Iwaizumi actually thinking about it. No one is asking you to forgive him. Really, no one. You have every right to be mad at him, but after everything you've told us, don't you think you have the right to a serious explanation? In which you might also be able to say a word or two? I mean, it's not like he can just walk away this time. Maki chuckled at Mattsun's hint. Iwaizumi rolled his eyes. What are you afraid of? Iwaizumi's eyes widened. Hanamaki was right after all. What was he afraid of? He had already lost Oikura, so how could it get any worse? Mattsun pulled Iwaizumi out of his thoughts again. He's at least as messed up as you are, Iwa. Aside from the fact that I treat him every day and he's physically at the end of his rope, I really noticed yesterday when we talked in the bar that Oikura isn't as strong as he pretends to be. Iwaizumi looked at Mattsun with almost sad eyes. Somehow he didn't want to hear that. He didn't want to hear that Oikura was as bad off as he was. Iwaizumi inhaled and exhaled deeply. One of you has to make the first move. And Oikura won't do it because he's a coward. Everyone had to chuckle. I'll think about it. Hanamaki, who was sitting next to Iwaizumi by now, moved closer to him and put his right arm around Iwaizumi's shoulders. He pressed Iwaizumi against him and whispered in his ear. Nah. Just do it, Iwa. Don't think about it too much. Iwaizumi pushed Maki away from him, annoyed, while Mattsun smiled at the whole situation. Maki, you're a nuisance. I am magnificent. Get off. You're drunk. Blah blah blah. Come on guys, let's go home. Hanamaki was about to get up when he immediately flopped back onto the bench next to Iwaizumi. Mattsun and Iwaizumi looked at him in surprise. Ah, we'll stay after all. I am drunk. Mattsun and Iwaizumi immediately burst out laughing. Bahahaha. Hahaha, come on Maki, I'll carry you. HMPH. They paid and then left the bar. On their way home, Mattsun and Iwaizumi made fun of Hanamaki, who was honestly too tired and drunk to defend himself any longer. As they parted ways, Iwaizumi let his friend's words run through his mind once more. Would it really do any good to meet with Oikura again? It was past midnight when Oikura leaned against the balcony railing outside and looked up at the night sky. He admired the beautiful full moon. Suddenly, Sugora joined Oikura and gently pressed his shoulder against Oikura's. Oi. Yahoo. They smiled at each other. I'm really glad you're here again. Yeah, me too. You know you could have stopped by more often. Haha, you sound like my mother Sugar. Well, what can I say? Oikura grinned at Sugar. Sorry, I've just been really focused on volleyball lately because I really needed to get better. Because you needed to get better or because you needed to distract yourself? Oikura averted his gaze from Sugar and looked at his hands, then back at the moon. Sugar leaned his head on Oikura's shoulder and sighed. both? 𝒖𝒔𝒄 leaned his head against Suga's. Maybe. Do you still feel something for him? 𝒖𝒔𝒄 remained silent for a while. Then he exhaled deeply. I don't know. I feel so bad because I just threw away our friendship from one day to the other. I miss talking to him. I miss how we used to tease each other all the time. I miss. 𝒖𝒂𝒄 paused for a moment. I miss him. 𝒖𝒂𝒄 sighed. As a friend. He added. But I messed up. So it's okay if he's mad at me. Yes, he may be mad, but he misses you at least as much, 𝒂𝒄. Please don't say that. I don't want to get my hopes up. 𝒖𝒂𝒄 smiled weakly. Suga detached slightly and stared at 𝒖𝒂𝒄. But what if there is still hope? He grinned at 𝒖𝒂𝒄, who looked at him in confusion. He tilted his head and tried to follow Suga. Suga took out his phone and showed 𝒖𝒂𝒄 his Haikyuu post that he published online a few hours ago. Liked by IwaOi.